Welcome back to Grow the Earth. I'm Tommy, and we're back out here in the garden again. But what we have here is we have another part of our bed where we had some our last run of green beans. We also had a tomato plant down here and a sunflower over there. And the problem is this is August 6th. We've got a couple more months before we plant our fall garden, and this part of the bed was overrun with weeds. Now that's partially my fault, because when we started these beds, I thought, like I had always been told, that before you plant, you always till. What happened was, when I tilled, I started these beds with a layer of cardboard on the bottom of them to keep the weeds from poking up through and invading our bed. But in tilling, I went too deep. I ended up tilling that dormant grass seed and grass nodules up into our planting soil. So now we deal with weeds. But now that I've got a couple of months before we're going to have anything else planted in here, I can go ahead and suppress these weeds and hopefully turn them back dormant again to where they're not going to invade our bed, especially now that we're not doing a till method, we're doing a no-till method, which means that I just come in here every time that I'm ready to plant. I top off the bed with compost from our compost bin and just plant right in top of that, along with, of course, some MicroLife Ultimate. I had done a previous recording, but it wasn't quite very good, to where you could see the actual grass and weeds that were here. But we're coming back into this, and I've already pulled the grass, and I've already raked it to level everything out. Because when we put this cardboard down, we want to make sure that we get a good enough amount of compost on top of it so that it weighs it down, and also so that we can keep it moist so that it starts to degrade. One of the benefits of using cardboard is that worms love this stuff. And when you provide a food source for worms, they will come into your beds. You have natural worms that are in your beds, but you don't see them normally, because if you don't have food for them, if you don't have something for them to eat, they're not going to stay there. They're going to go back down into the ground, into the other areas of your yard to find food. So putting all this cardboard down is going to draw in those worms that are going to be a real benefit for our beds. First, we got to break down and prep these boxes. Now, with these cardboard boxes, a lot of people are going to be concerned about the glues and stuff that hold this together. But the majority of these boxes these days are held together with just a starch and water mixture, basically, that they use for glue. So we're not going to contaminate our bed or anything like that. Because one thing that we do not want in our beds is going to be any kind of a tape, because of course it's not going to break down, or any staples, or any kind of a shiny tag, or anything like that. Because all of that stuff is either A, not going to break down, or take a very, very long time to break down. And we want this stuff broken down in the next 2 to 3 months. That way we're not digging through hard cardboard in order to plant this bed out with our fall crop. So, we'll bring you guys back in a moment, and after I've broken these boxes down and pulled all this tape off, I'm going to show you how we're going to lay this down and what else we're going to do. Alright guys, now we're back, and I'm taking the opportunity to go ahead and lay these down, because there is a certain way that you want to lay out these boxes. You definitely want to make sure that you get all the way up against the edge here, and also wherever there's a joint you want to overlap a little bit, because again, we don't want any spaces there where we can kind of sneak up in between two pieces of boxes. Now, of course, if you don't have any of these boxes, we have of course, Amazon delivery, and you saw a box called Imperfect Foods that we order from every once in a while. But if you don't have delivery services that come to your house, you can simply go to one of your local grocery stores or a Walmart or even a department store and ask them for boxes. They will gladly give them to you, I promise you. Just simply, catch a manager, or if you go in the evening times when they're stocking, especially, you can get plenty of boxes then. Now, again, we pulled off all the tape, and I will tell you that pulling tape is a pain. It's a lot easier whenever the box is not broken down all the way. And then I just simply, where the cardboard is glued together to make the actual box itself, I just separated it there and laid it out. And now what we're going to do is, I've got some compost here that we pulled out of our compost pile, and we're going to put that on top of this and smooth it out real nice, and then I'll bring you guys back. I don't want to bore you with watching me spread out dirt. On a different note, I want to thank you guys that are subscribed to the channel. There's 278 of you guys that are subscribed to the channel, and I thank every one of you for subscribing and watching. I'm just amazed at the fact that even in the times where I don't put out a video, that I've got 100 views that happened within the last 2 days. It's amazing. The channel's starting to take off. I will encourage every one of you to comment. Put a comment. If you like the video, hit like. That helps all the way around. The comments help me more than anything, because I want to see what you guys liked about the video, what you didn't like, anywhere you think that I can improve. I'm kind of limited on video skills, but I try. So guys, comments. Everything that I love to have comments. All right. Well, if you can't tell, it's kind of steamy out here. We're just south of Houston here, and even in the evening time, as you can see, the sun's gone down. It's still relatively warm. So guys, the reason that I covered it with dirt is, number one, so it doesn't get blown away if we have any kind of high winds or anything. And also, the only way that cardboard is going to break down is if it stays moist and stays wet. So that's what this is going to do. That inch or two of soil is going to help keep that cardboard moist at all times, and we won't have the problem of it staying dry and being a barrier for whenever we go to plant in the fall. So I encourage you to use this tip for how to smother out weeds. A lot of people use this whenever they're making a new garden bed for putting in the bottom, but it works just as well for times like this. Garden beds are going to sink over time as the soil compacts and as nutrients and so forth are used, and we've got to top off our beds. So if you're having issues with weeds, put down a layer of cardboard, cover it up with the dirt that you're already going to put there, and voila, you've got a weed barrier. A weed barrier that is organic and is going to break down. So guys, as always, I encourage you to pray over your garden, pray over your family, and have a great day.